me guess. In with all of your cookbooks, you probably have one or two of these, a church cookbook. And maybe it's from your church and one of your recipes is in there, or maybe you just picked it up at a thrift sale or a local church was selling them. But let me encourage you to go check them out because we are making 3 recipes today from this church cookbook and this church cookbook that are excellent. We've got a dessert recipe that just satisfies my sweet tooth. We've got a surprising cornbread recipe that we loved. And then we've got an old classic that's just done a specific way. So we're gonna try that, and it turned out really great too. People at the church know what they're doing with food. So come along with us as we try 3 new recipes from these church cookbooks. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. For our first recipe, it is coming from this church cookbook, which Patty sent me. Thank you so much, Patty. But we're making a dessert recipe because quite honestly, we're craving this. So we're gonna make this, and then we're gonna eat some lunch and let it cool in the fridge, and then we're gonna have dessert. So for this dessert, we are making microwave fudge. I love me some fudge. And the fact that this is made in the microwave and I don't have to bake or do anything because y'all know I'm not a baker, this was right up my alley, so let's give it a try.
I got $1 million question for you.
No, you don't. What you got?
I need to know if this is going to have nuts in it or not.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say optional. I prefer no nuts in my fudge. I just want creamy fudge with no crunch. But what about you?
We got to have something crunchy.
Okay, so.
Say amen if you need crunchy.
We've got some pecans here. Pecans, pecan, I say pecan. We've got these. What if we do half and half?
I'm down with that.
Potentially.
I'm feeling it.
We'll see if we can. I don't even know if that's possible. We're going to find out.
Because sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't. This is microwave safe. So we've just got a few ingredients. There's really not many that go into this recipe, which is my kind of recipe. But we're going to be using an entire bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I got the good stuff. I got the Ghirardelli because why not?
Yeah, go big or go home.
So first things first, we've got 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. We're gonna pour that in. Now let's open this whole bag. My heart is so happy right now. I'm gonna stir this up just to get it kind of started, but we're gonna stick this in the microwave at 30 seconds, and we're gonna do it 30-second increments until it's all melted. It should take up to about 2 minutes to do total. 30 seconds, here we go. I don't make fudge. You know who makes fudge and it's good? How do you not know? My mama.
Your mama. Yeah, your
my
mama
mama every Christmas makes fudge, and that is one of my favorite things. On Christmas morning, we get either to her house or they've started coming over here on Christmas morning. The first thing I'm doing, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm already eating fudge, and it's mama's fudge. So that's the only time of year I eat fudge, or if we're out somewhere and someone has it, I don't ever make fudge.
So what you're saying is there's going to be more fudge in our diet.
At least right now, which is probably not the smartest idea. But you know.
I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea.
YOLO. Oh, it's starting to melt already. Okay, this has been a little less than 2 minutes. I did like 1 minute and 50 seconds, I think. It is good. Now we need to add half a jar of marshmallow fluff. So,
marshmallow fluff.
Is it fluff or, well, it's called jet puffed, but it's called fluff, right?
It's a fluff of jet puff.
All right. Let's add a half a jar of this. Okay.
You're just going to kind of eyeball it, right?
Yeah, because it just says a 7-ounce jar, only use half the jar. So let's stir that in there. Oh, that's pretty. How much sugar is in that, do you think, right there?
It's enough for a couple of months, I can tell you that.
This is why I don't make fudge, y'all, because I will eat the whole thing in just a matter of days. That is not a good idea. But, you know, all for the name of the video.
Yeah, especially at night. Baby, would you go in there and get me a piece of fudge and a glass of milk?
Absolutely. That's happening tonight. That looks so good. I'm trying to make sure I'm not seeing any more of that marshmallow cream. I think we're good. So the recipe calls for 1 cup of chopped nuts, and we were wanting to do half and half, but I don't think that's gonna work out. It's gonna mix up. So I'm just doing about a half a cup of nuts. I've got pecans here, and I'm just gonna chop these up kind of roughly. I don't want them super small. Y'all gotta let us know. Do you like your fudge with or without nuts?
Well, what kind of nuts do you like in your fudge?
Yeah, you could do walnuts too.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like creamy fudge. I don't want to have to crunch into something too much.
Yeah, you're just humoring me right now, aren't you?
I am. This is all for you. In the name of love, babe. In the name of love. I think that's good. I don't want them too small of pieces. I think that's good. What you think?
I mean, yeah.
That means no, it's not good. Just for those of you who don't understand, if he hesitates and says, I mean, yeah, then it's not good. He wants me to keep going. 25 years of marriage, y'all. It's good enough now. and it's gonna go in. So it doesn't tell me in the instructions what size dish to put this in. And it doesn't tell me if I need to do parchment paper or spray it or anything. So I'm gonna spray it just because that's easier than doing parchment paper in my opinion. So hopefully it won't stick. It shouldn't. I think it'll be fine, but just in case. And I'm doing an 8x8 dish. I think that'll be fine too. But again, I don't know. Ain't this fun? Don't you like guesswork? I'm gonna cover that and stick it in the fridge. What are we gonna do with this? It's gonna harden and like, that's gonna be hard to clean.
I think you're showing me what you're gonna do with it right now.
Ain't that good?
That is delicious.
That's enough sugar right there in that one lick to last you all day.
For sure.
Okay, so this is going in the fridge and we'll be back in just a little bit for a proper taste test. Again, it did not tell me how long I should put it in the fridge, but we're gonna go to lunch and when we come back, we'll have dessert. Okay, so we put it, just a heads up, we put it in the fridge for what, a couple of hours?
Yep.
And it wasn't quite done yet, so I stuck it into the freezer for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and now it's ready. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
I get the big piece.
Ooh, tink. Okay. I shouldn't have used the olive oil because I can taste the olive oil on it. Can you taste it?
Maybe slightly. But
Wait,
not
let me
much.
get a paper towel. I wonder if I can set it on the paper towel.
Not much.
Hang on.
So it's more, one thing that I've noticed about this is a little bit more, fudge has that like really melty sort of like texture to it. This one is kind of like that.
But it's kind of, I don't want to say it's chewy, not spongy. I don't know how to describe it. It's super sweet. Mama, you'll have to tell us in the comments. Sometimes she says her fudge doesn't set up right. I think she uses melted butter potentially. Hers is different than this for sure. But I do like this consistency.
Yeah, it's really good consistency. But yeah, melted butter sounds very interesting.
I'm pretty sure Mom uses melted butter in hers. I think I have her recipe. I just never made it because I just eat it once a year and
Really
Mom
good.
always makes it. Okay, so I would say that this church cookbook recipe is a win. And we've got a big old pan of it. Not good.
Yeah, we're going to have to chop some of that out and give it away for sure.
We sure are. All
That's
right.
a lot of fudge.
Okay, moving on to the
But I
next
like
recipe.
the pecans in there too.
It's not bad. There's not too many of them. That's why I don't mind it. Next recipe coming up. It is time for recipe number 2 from a church cookbook. You may recognize this church cookbook. Who was it that sent me this? Mary Jane sent me this about a year ago. This is called the Gems Ministry. And there are several versions for broccoli cornbread in here, but I chose one that I felt like would have a great flavor, pretty easy to make. So let's make some broccoli cornbread. First things first, let's preheat our oven to 375. Side note, I'm still in love with Inglenook & Co. candles. This particular one smells so good. If you've never tried them, I'll leave a link below where you can save 15% off of your order. It's non-toxic. It's all made, all the soy is grown in the US, pure cotton wicks. The throw is amazing. You can smell this all over my house and it's sitting here in the kitchen. Y'all, I absolutely love it. And they are in my county, another plus. I love supporting small businesses, especially small businesses in my county. So Inglenook & Co., I'll leave their link below. We also love their soaps. Oh my goodness, y'all. We've been customers for a couple of years now. We absolutely love them. For the recipe, we're gonna be using a box of Jiffy mix. And then I also need a half a cup of unsalted butter melted. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. While we wait on that to melt, we need an onion chopped, finely chopped. I'm gonna do about a medium-sized onion. I'm only gonna do half of it though. So I could have grabbed my chopper out, quite honestly, but I'm gonna just finely chop this really quickly. Okay, we've got our onion, and then we also need some broccoli. So it's frozen broccoli. You need about 10 ounces of it, but you need it completely thawed. I tried to get the really small cut pieces from my grocery store, but they were out. So I'm gonna chop this up a little bit, but we also need to pat this dry. Good thing I patted this dry, because that would have been some soggy stuff. So you wanna grab an 8x8 dish and grease it, and then set that to the side, and then we're just gonna combine everything in this large bowl. So we've got our box of Jiffy corn muffin mix. Our onion is going in. We need 3 eggs beaten. Forgot to grab that, so let's do that. You need 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I just shredded this just a couple of minutes ago. Let's add that in. A half a teaspoon of garlic salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Let's combine all of that together really well. Oh, I was wondering, it's like, that's not very wet. Yeah, we're missing all that butter. You need a half a cup of unsalted butter melted. I'm gonna pour that in as well. That's gonna make it a lot easier to stir. Now, we're gonna stir in our broccoli. Again, it's 10 ounces. It's been completely thawed. And then I just kind of cut it up into smaller pieces. Okay, this is gonna go into our baking dish, and this is going to bake at 375 for about 30 minutes. Hopefully it will be done and be delicious. It smells great. I mean, all of the ingredients are right up our alley, so I think this is going to be a keeper. Our timer just went, oh my goodness. Our timers just went off, and yeah, that's beautiful. Let's pull that out. The beauty, the smell. I wish that you were here. I'm already getting started on our next dish, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. So I've got something defrosting here, but I'm not drinking a Coke. This is one of those things that keeps your drink cold. Keep it in the freezer. It's got ice in the middle, kind of. Anyway, I'm drinking a Poppy that's sitting over here. We've got to let this cool. I'm gonna let it cool for just a few minutes, and then we're gonna try it. And then we're gonna get started on recipe number 3. We are so excited to try this. It smells amazing in my house right now. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Yes.
What'd you do to my cornbread?
We jazzed it up a little bit. Look at that. It's hot now.
It smells delicious.
I'm going to get a fork just because it's hot and I want to blow on it a little bit. Do you want a fork?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Kind of warm my fingertips up.
All right, go ahead.
We can't take.
Well, let me get a bite this way and then we can tank. You can just hold it.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. It's proper size.
Oh gosh.
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
Tink.
Mmm.
Oh man, cheesy, buttery, broccoli.
That is really good. Man, I'm impressed.
I want another bite.
Yeah, like buttery, cheesy. Wow. Really nice consistency too. You did a really good job.
Okay, this is a new favorite.
I love broccoli casserole. It's one of my favorite things. This is better than broccoli casserole.
Right? This is a new favorite for sure. Y'all, that's so good. Not super healthy. Has a whole stick of butter in it. But hey.
Man, that is good.
You got to try that one. So that was a hit out of the church cookbook.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm about to make us some lunch.
Man.
Recipe number 3. Okay, for recipe number 3, we are back to this cookbook. And this particular one is baked spaghetti casserole. Nothing brand new. We've probably all had a version of this, but this sounded really good and really easy. So that's what we're having for lunch. Okay, I've got some water boiling here. I'm about to throw some noodles in it, but first we need to preheat the oven to 350, which it was close to that anyway, because we just took the cornbread out. This is good and boiling, so let me go grab that. We need 8 to 10 ounces of spaghetti. So I've got thin spaghetti here. This is a whole pound. So I'll use about half the box, maybe a little more. I set the timer for just about 4 minutes. I don't want this to be mush, so I'm gonna just kind of check it at that point. I just don't want to cook it all the way. I wanna do more like al dente, but since it's thin spaghetti, it's not gonna take long at all. And then something else we need to do is brown some ground beef. So I'm gonna get, oven's ready. I'm gonna get this going, heat that to about medium high, and my ground beef is in here. I've already thawed it. This is done. Let's drain it, and then we're gonna put it in a 9x13 dish. And I've got 1 pound of ground beef going here. It doesn't call for onion, but I still had part of the onion from the broccoli cornbread. So I'm gonna add that in because why not? Let's let that continue to cook. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter. I need to melt that. While that is in the microwave melting, we need to crack 2 eggs here. I threw our melted butter in the fridge so it doesn't scramble my eggs as soon as I pour it in there. But we've got our 2 eggs. We need to add our melted butter and then about a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. It doesn't say to grate it yourself, but I had some fresh Parmesan cheese, and honestly I would rather have fresh versus the shaker stuff, which I have the shaker stuff on hand too, don't get me wrong. But since I had this, I'm gonna just put some in my mouth. I thought I would just use this instead. So we'll add the butter to this in just a second. I'm really hoping I don't scramble my eggs. Okay, I don't think I did. So let's pour this over top of our spaghetti. I'm just gonna break up some of that Parmesan cheese, spread it out a little bit. Now on top of this, we need to bring in some ricotta cheese. You could also use cottage cheese if you want to, but we just need 1 cup of ricotta cheese. I took the thing off, right? Yeah, it still looks very plasticky on top. So that's about half of this container. I'm just gonna do it in kind of small amounts all over and then try to spread it as best I can. Trying to get those major clumps kind of spread out as much as possible. Okay, I think that's good. Now we need to layer on our ground beef, which I've already taken off of the stove. This did not have very much grease to it, so I really didn't have to do anything, but you may want to drain yours. Then we're gonna season our meat, which I could have seasoned it while it was in here, and I probably should have. Make sure that's good and spread out. And let's add some seasonings. We need about a half a teaspoon of garlic salt, about a teaspoon of dried oregano, and then about a teaspoon of salt and some pepper. Now it just says to use a jar of spaghetti sauce, whichever one you want. I've got this one here from Thrive Market. It is their roasted garlic. So we're gonna pour that over top. And then we're gonna top it with some, none other than mozzarella cheese. You need about 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. Okay, this is gonna go in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. It has been 30 minutes. This smells so good. It is time to eat. This smells really good. It smells like baked spaghetti.
Looks like baked spaghetti.
I'm imagining it's gonna taste like it too.
Let's try it out. Looks good, smells good. Let's do it.
Oh, we gotta take it up.
Tink. Man,
Okay,
that's really good.
okay.
What in the world are we eating here?
It's kind of like a lasagna / spaghetti.
It is. That's really good. Is that ricotta cheese in there?
It's got some eggs in there too. Isn't that good?
That is really good. I don't know when the last time I've had baked spaghetti.
It's been a minute. I don't know that I've ever
Super
made
good.
it.
Cheesy, very cheesy. But yeah, like the flavors are really rich, very deep. And there's like something, I guess it's just the spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
That is really good. Really lifting up those flavors and everything, kind of cutting through that, you know?
It's good.
Heavy cheese. That right there is good.
You could even do half a pound of ground beef and half a pound of Italian sausage to add even more flavor. And I thought I had Italian sausage on hand. I was kind of hoping for that, but I didn't. I just went with ground beef, but that would
really good.
that would take it up even further.
Yeah, it certainly would.
He's eyeing this.
Look, I know they don't really go together, but they do.
They do now.
Okay. I'm trying to get all my carbs in all at one time.
Right. We're going to work out this afternoon. This is good stuff. Okay, that was 3 really great recipes from the church cookbooks. We had the microwave fudge, remember that? Which is almost gone. It's been a whole weekend, so there's that. We made that on Friday. It's now Monday. It's almost gone. There's like a tiny little bit left. And then we've had these 2 today. Which recipe is your favorite? I knew he was going to say that. Wow.
And then the spaghetti and then the fudge.
I love the fudge too.
Fudge is really good. I'm not a huge, like, sweets fan.
He's not. I am. This is really, really good. You know, I just did that video that's talked about potluck, what to take to a potluck. This would be a perfect one to take to a potluck. So, if you've got some church cookbooks on hand, I recommend go grab them, look through them, see what you can find, and give something that you've never tried a try. You could be pleasantly surprised like we were, and we loved all 3, so this was a hit. Don't forget, if you haven't already, I would love for you to join my YouTube family. It is free to do so. You just hit that subscribe button below. That way YouTube knows that you want to see my content and you won't miss any videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you love church cookbooks, especially if you have one sitting around your house, which you probably do. At least one. And we will see you next time. Bye, y'all.